how to start a remote cleaning business. So in this video of the series, we're going to be focused on cleaner recruitment. How do you find the best cleaners? How do you interview them? And how do you onboard them and do this completely remotely? So let's jump straight into it. So there's a couple of important points to note before we get started. So obviously running a remote cleaning business means that we're not able to do any face-to-face interviews, face-to-face onboarding, anything like that. Everything needs to be done online or by the phone. And actually that is not a problem. It can work really, really well. The second point to note is that recruiting cleaning staff is really a numbers game. In my own cleaning business, we recruit less than 1% of all people that apply to us. So we need a funnel that is very efficient, that can filter through lots of candidates and pick out those gems. And those are the ones that we want to recruit. So let's jump straight into it. So there's broadly 5 points that I want to cover off today. First of all is, where do we find the top of the funnel? Where do we advertise for cleaning recruits? And there are lots of job boards out there where you as the business owner can say that we're recruiting cleaning staff at this pay rate in this location. The main one that you'll probably come across is Indeed.com. It is essentially the Google for finding, a job, finding cleaning staff. So you can put an advert up there and Indeed will charge you every time your ad is clicked. So Indeed, is a website where people who are looking for jobs will come to. They'll see lots of other cleaning companies advertising for staff, and then if yours is one of those ads, they can click on that ad, and that is how you get that first potential applicant through the door. As well as Indeed, there's lots of other job sites. Facebook is also a good place to look. Referrals to your cleaning staff are another good place. But generally, you want to be in that job advert including 3 key points. So first of all is obviously the pay rate. Make this very, very clear. Don't have this at the bottom of the advert. Don't have it, tied up in the middle section of the advert. Be very, very clear. Is this an hourly rate that you're paying? Is this a fixed rate you're paying? Be very clear with that. The second point is which locations you're going to be serving, because obviously cleaners who are having to travel a long, long way between jobs, it's going to be less interesting for them to join your company than if it's within a specific area near where they live. So you need to be very clear about where these jobs will be. And then third of all is the hours. So is this a part-time position? Is this a full-time position? How many jobs can they expect a day? These are the 3 key points that we need to make clear. So when someone sees your adverts, they can usually click to apply, they can fill out a form and you can get notified in your inbox, or you can send them to your website and they can fill out a form. But that's the first point. Where do we find these job candidates? So the job boards and Indeed.com is going to be where the majority of your candidates will come from. So point 2 is then the interview process. So for those of you that don't know, there's a great piece of self-scheduling interview software called Calendly. And what Calendly does is that you can upload your calendar, your availability to take telephone interviews to Calendly, and you can share your Calendly link with anyone, and anyone can then book a specific time in your calendar for that telephone interview. So if someone applies to become a cleaner for your business, send them your Calendly link as a first step and get them to self-schedule in a time to speak. Don't invest too much time at this stage, because there'll be lots of people that actually don't even bother to schedule a telephone interview with you. So you want to put the onus on them a bit, get them to pick a time and schedule in a time to speak to you. That goes on to the third point. So the third point is the telephone interview themselves. So in that Calendly link, you want to get them and be very clear that they need to call you rather than you call them. And the reason for that is that you will find that if you do it the other way around and people are booking in telephone interviews, a lot of them won't pick up the phone, a lot of them won't show up, and that's a lot of time wasted for you blocking out your day and making those calls themselves. So if you put the onus on them to call you, you only need to pick up the phone when those people will call you up. So it saves you a huge amount of time. The telephone interview itself should be very, very short. You don't need to keep them online for 30 minutes or an hour or anything like that. In my business, we focus on three things. So first of all, do they call at the time specified? Not 10 minutes early, not 10 minutes late. Do they call at that specific time? And for us, it's really important because if you think about, further down the line when they go into your client jobs, so if your client books a 3 p.m. cleaning, if they show up at 2:30, that's inconvenient for the client. If they show up 20 minutes late, equally as inconvenient. So we're very, very stringent on punctuality. So we need to make sure that people are calling at the time that they booked on their interview. Secondly, and this is a more general point, you just want to get a feel of the manner of the cleaner on the phone. For us, it's important that they speak good English because they need to communicate with our clients. So we need to check their level of English. And you also might use it as a way just to quickly go through the job spec again, the pay rate, the hours and the locations. Assuming all those are okay, then the next stage would be then inviting them for a Zoom interview. So that is point 4. So if they pass the telephone interview, then the next stage of the interview process is to invite them to a Zoom interview. And again, we're trying to do a few things with this. We're trying to see if they're truly interested, they will book in a Zoom session and they will show up to the Zoom session on time. So this is a further hurdle. We want to see how keen these people are to actually work with our company. Secondly, we want to see what the manner is like. So we can't pick this up on the phone, but we can see this better in a Zoom situation, because ultimately when they're going to your client properties, it is face-to-face interaction. And if they've got a nice manner on the Zoom, they'll probably have a nice manner when they're working with your clients. But if there are any red flags, then these can be more easily picked up in a Zoom session rather than a telephone interview. So that's why the Zoom session is really important. Assuming they get past the Zoom session and you're happy to make them an offer, that is when we go to step 5 in the process, and that is the job offer stage. So we use online document signing software. DocuSign is one. There's lots of other options out there, but essentially what happens is we will email the candidate and say we would like to offer you this position. Please check the contract attached and provide an online signature, and that will indicate that they have accepted the job. We always put a time limit on there, and again, we're just trying to see if people are following instructions and again, how keen they are. So we will say, please, if you'd like to accept this job offer, please sign the document within 24 hours. Again, if it takes them 36 hours, they're not keen or they're not, really interested in the job position itself. So we make sure that we use that 24-hour timeline to measure how keen they are to start, as well as their ability to follow instructions as well. So that is the 5-point process to recruit great cleaning staff for your remote cleaning business. It works fantastically well in my business, and we run in 4 cities across the country. I hope you enjoyed this video. Do click like or subscribe if you found the content interesting. In this next video of the series, we're going to look at client marketing. How do you acquire clients? How do you bring on new clients when running a remote cleaning business? So I'll see you guys on the next one.